This is Rlx 1.7, the 7th major upgrade that comes to Reliq. It brings together a series of enhancements for better overview and faster navigation, creative workflows for evolving patterns, and 3 new MIDI effects. The first immediate change on 1.7 is the new clip info view, located on the right side of the screen on the sequencer and the clip page. The info view provides information across different pages of Reliq on a centralized point. In the middle, we can see the name and color of the current clip together with its seed count. We can also see the current follow-up settings of this clip to know how the clip will evolve. The matrix sequencer clip, so we know what happens in terms of routings and mixing, and LFO and envelope slots to know how the current pattern is being modulated from the LFO and envelope pages. The clip info view can help to make decisions faster while on the sequencer page and reduce navigation across different pages of Reliq. Together with the clip info view, 1.7 gets increased compatibility with different kinds of equipment. Every CV track can now have its own CV and gate standard. 1 volt per octave for Rlx systems, 1.2 volt per octave for Buchla systems, or Hertz per volt for vintage synthesizers like the Korg MS-10 and MS-20. The gate can be inverted too to simulate S-trig for vintage synthesizers. In this way, every track of Reliq can control different equipment, like a Buchla system on one track, an MS-10 on another, and Eurorack, without the need for converters, cables, or troubleshooting. 1.7 also brings an expansion in quantization. The list has been expanded to include triplet values. The mechanism has also been adapted to work as a grid when strength is set at 100%. When strength is at 100%, every note entered through the keys page, an external keyboard, or sequenced directly in the sequencer will be quantized on the triplet grid. That makes it quite fast to make triplets. We can of course parameter lock and change the notes of the triplet steps. And we can also get a new accumulator setting for every step and every voice of Reliq. Accumulators are modulation engines that can help patterns evolve based on a defined set of rules. Every voice of Reliq has 3 different accumulators running in parallel. The first one is pitch. We can define a maximum value in semitones, let's put this at +12, and a minimum value, let's put this -12, so we have a range of 2 octaves. Then we can define how this note will evolve over time. If we set offset to +1, every time the note repeats, we'll go 1 semitone higher. Or if we are on a chord track or a melody track, this will be scale quantized. We also have different modes. In rap, every time the accumulator will move the note by 1 semitone, and when we reach the maximum value, we will come back to the closest minimum value. In hold, when we reach the last step, the note will stay there. In pendulum, we will go up, and then when we reach the maximum value, we'll go down. Or reset, where we reach the max, the note will go back on its original value. But let's switch this back to rap. Of course, any pattern that has accumulators can be copied and pasted like any other track. Individual steps can also be copied and pasted. Until now we have applied the pitch accumulator on a single voice only from the sequencer page, but we can get more detailed on the piano roll. Let's expand this pattern a bit. Now, every individual voice, even if it's part of a chord or it has its own microtiming, can have a different accumulator setting. We can also have accumulators for velocities and ratchets, so let's switch to the velocity page and get this step a bit lower. Now we can go back to this voice, set a maximum amount of velocity evolution. Let's move this maybe back to 30. So every time that this note will repeat, we will have an increase of 5 in velocity. We can also do the same for ratchets to create more evolving rhythms. Let's set the max to +4 and an offset to 1. So every time that the note repeats, we get one more ratchet. Velocity, ratchet and pitch are running in parallel, so we can create evolving patterns in terms of pitch, velocity and rhythm in the same time. Also, patterns can be copy and paste on different tracks that they have different lengths, including the accumulator settings. Let's go on track 4, that has a step count of 8, and let's paste this pattern. We can very quickly have, in this way, evolving patterns. .7 also brings improvements on the chord mode. On the chord mode we have a new strumming option. Every chord degree can have its own strumming settings. We can have different rates of strumming and different directions, up or down. We can play chords live and record them including their strumming, but we can also set the chords from chord piano roll. Let's set this duration. Now that we have a chord, we can go on the first voice only and apply an accumulator. So now only the first voice of the chord will evolve over time. .7 also brings 3 new MIDI effects. Let's start by making a simple pattern on this track. The first MIDI effect coming in 1.7 is a harmonizer generator. A harmonizer will take any notes on this pattern and apply more voices on different offsets. We can send every voice offset in semitones, and if we are on a chord or melody track, the semitones will be scale quantized. We can also turn off the origin note or on. We can apply multiple harmonizers in series or use harmonizers together with arpeggiators or any other MIDI effect. Let's have a look on the 2 more new MIDI effects coming on Rlx 1.7. For this, let's switch to a new clip. Since quantization is stored per track and per clip, it's quite easy to move from a triplet grid to a standard grid. Let's solo this track first. Let's go on track 5. And for start, let's go on the MIDI effects. Here we have a MIDI delay. I'll start by entering a note. A MIDI delay works in a similar way as an audio delay, but on the MIDI domain. We have different time intervals, including triplets and dotted. We have different feedback that will define how much each repetition feeds to the next one. And we also have velocity depth. By default, when velocity depth is at 0, every repetition will have the same velocity and same amplitude. The more I increase the velocity, the more my delay will fade. But I can also set the velocity depth in negative values to create reverse delays. Together with the velocity depth, we also get a bouncing parameter. The bouncing parameter will define how dense the repetitions become over time. A positive bouncing will create a bouncing ball effect. A negative bouncing will create a reverse bouncing effect. These different parameters can be played and combined together to have different evolving rhythmical patterns through delays. Let's move now to another track, and let's solo a simple drum groove. And let's have a look at Manglr, the last MIDI effect introduced in 1.7. A Manglr is a creative stutter and glitch effect that comes together with different styles and targets. It can chop notes, it can apply echo to notes, it can also spray them, shuffle them by chopping and redistributing the parts, or chaos for including all of the above. All of these styles can be applied to different targets: all notes, mixed notes for more balanced results, accents, offbeats, dense parts of the pattern, low pitch, mid pitch, or high pitch. But let's go back to mixed. We can set the intensity of the effect, and we can also adjust the variation, so how the Manglr recipe will evolve over time. In this way, we can explore more rhythmic variations and inspire happy accidents. Let's unsolo. This provides a basic overview of what comes at 1.7, but of course more things are included, like an expanded list of scales, envelope retrigger options, and LFO visualization improvements, and much more. As always, for a full list of what comes on this update, the manual is already updated to include everything on the What's New section.